Hello and welcome. Today I'm in the tier 9 Soviet destroyer, the Udaloi. And this is a match on everybody's favorite map with everybody's favorite game mode, Tears of the Desert with Epicenter. And it's a tier 10 match. I would be using these commander skills and modules if this were a match in the current patch, but you know, it wasn't. It's from January, I think, and anyways, I spot Khabarovsk in the middle of the map that is actually trying to cap. So obviously I'm going to shoot him because, well, it's free damage against a kebab, so I mean, that's always a good idea. You should try to take out destroyers, especially since I am not one of the closer of the friendly destroyers, so enemies are unlikely to shoot me, except for some reason that Khabarovsk still shot me. I suppose the good thing is that the battleships didn't shoot me. But yeah, I don't understand why that Khabarovsk is firing at me. Well, in either case, I'm just gonna keep running away then, because I definitely don't want to take unnecessary damage, especially at this stage of the game. I don't think it's worth it. I think trying to survive as much as possible is a very good thing. Also, apparently, Warships like tried rushing a Khabarovsk for some reason. I don't really see why, and it honestly did nothing. The Shimakaze just lost most of her HP for absolutely no reason. So let's dodge these torpedoes and go back towards the middle again. Because I definitely want to deal as much damage as I can to these destroyers, because destroyers often do have a very large impact on the game. Even if they don't deal a lot of damage, they can determine a lot through things like capping and, well, taking or not taking cap zones and smokescreen usage and torpedoes. Destroyers have a lot of impact on games, basically. So about Udaloi herself, though, I think that she's a pretty good ship, although she's obviously not as good as the Khabarovsk, but the main thing that I find lacking with her is speed. Yes, I know the Udaloi is still a very fast ship, etc, etc, however, she is slower than the Tashkent, and I find that having a lot more speed, or having slightly more speed, does make a difference when you're trying to dodge. So I have a much easier time dodging shells with something like Khabarovsk than the Udaloi. And Udaloi is slower than even the Tashkent or the Kiev, so you'll have some problems there. By the way, these are the current patch things about the ship, not the upcoming ones. I'm not actually quite certain about the upcoming changes of the Soviet destroyers. Except the fact that it seems their HE damage is being buffed or something along those lines. I'm not quite certain. At least that's what I read on some posts. So, we actually are able to cap the middle of the map for some reason. I don't quite understand why the enemy destroyers did not try to stop us. Because it seems they're not even in the second circle. Which is actually really useful for us, I suppose. Because it means that the enemy, everything is in, or rather the ball is in the enemy's court right now, because everything depends on them now. And what we should do as a team is try to, you know, sit back and relax and have the enemies come towards us. However, because this is a random battle, there's no way that's going to happen. Our team is still going to YOLO in and die just as though we did not have any of the cap zones. Which means that I'm gonna follow, obviously, for, I don't even know why I follow. But I suppose I can deal some damage while the enemies are distracted by other things. It would be very nice if we could take out their destroyers, but for some reason their destroyers are very cowardly. Cowardly. Yeah, I think that's the word. Sorry, I mean, that's how it should be pronounced. If you look at the map, you'll see where they are. At least the enemy team is defending the third cap zone, and it seems enemies are actually shooting me. So turning is a pretty good idea, and that's the Bismarck. What? She survived the 6 HP. Are you for real? God damn it. I would have got that kill if she hadn't pressed R too quickly. Oh well, next target. I suppose, yeah, this Prince Eugen will do. I mean, dealing damage to cruisers often does deal a larger percentage of their health compared to shooting a battleship, so hitting a cruiser is important, however it's generally more difficult. And one of the enemy DDs is actually coming back again, and it's the Khabarovsk, so I want to switch targets eventually. I think at least, although right now it appears I am focusing on the Prince Eugen and trying to not get too close to the enemies. By the way, I am firing at the Minotaur now, and I think the Soviet DDs are actually one of the biggest counters to the Royal Navy light cruisers, because they have very good gun arcs or shell arcs, and they are really fast, so Soviet DDs are very difficult to hit for Royal Navy light cruiser at range, while the Soviet destroyer has an easy time hitting the Royal Navy light cruiser, so those fights actually favor the Soviet DD, and that's actually something I noticed some people do in ranked, where they would pick the Leningrad and just try to annoy the Fijis and Belfast as much as they can. Because, you know, if the DD is at like 12-kilometer range, the Belfast or Fiji has a really difficult time actually doing anything to the Leningrad. Okay, so that's the Z-46. I suppose that would be a decent target. And at this point, the Khabarovsk is definitely the one that's trying to interrupt our outer capping. I tried telling my team that we should try to stop our pushing, because we are ahead in terms of points and cap zones, but we are definitely not ahead in ships. We have lost 5 ships, they have lost 4. So we definitely need to make sure that we don't push. I've had a video before in pretty much this exact same scenario where my team kept pushing and we eventually lost because of it, and I would like to not repeat that. I'm gonna fire soon on the Minotaur, I suppose, and oh, my team seems to be going blah 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 on my suggestion, which is always a great thing to hear. Okay, Montana, next target. It would be really nice if my torpedoes hit something. That's very unlikely though. And now that I am spotted, I imagine I'm gonna be the one being shot at, so I need to do evasive maneuvers. Because at this point I don't have priority target, because there is no such skill yet. I found that priority target definitely helped Soviet DD play a lot, because it means I don't have to do evasive maneuvers if nobody is actually targeting me. Which right now I can't tell, since, you know, I don't have that information. So I need to turn my ship because I'm gonna run aground otherwise, which I might actually still do because I'm not really paying attention, and yes, I am running aground, so since I'm prepared for that, I use smoke immediately. However, I still run aground. I suppose I can still, you know, fire my guns from here, so it's not all bad. And I mean, I have 4 smoke screens, so using it at some point might be a good idea. I don't want to turn in a way where I would get more guns on the Bismarck, because I was afraid that the Yuguma might have torpedoed from that little gap. Not to mention I would like to be in a position where I can start running away if necessary. Man, DDs just take a really long time to deal significant damage, although if you are very lucky with fires, that damage can ramp up really quickly. However, I do like the Soviet DDs. I particularly like the fact that you can dodge a lot of shells, and that makes playing her quite fun. So the Khabarovsk is coming around, which is why I'm gonna try switching targets, because taking out DDs, especially something like the Khabarovsk, is a very good thing. And since I am inside smoke, I can do it fairly risk-free. And the main risk is that somebody might be torpedoing my smoke screen. And because of that, I think it might be a good idea to move away from the smoke soon, which I'm gonna do right now with full speed. Because if that Khabarovsk did torpedo, those torpedoes can definitely reach me, since she was at like 8 kilometers. Her torps have 10-kilometer range. Anyways, while I'm running, I'll try to get as many hits on the Khabarovsk, while still trying to dodge. Okay, the Khabarovsk disappeared, so switching targets to the Minotaur. I'm slightly afraid that the Minotaur might fire at me, but I think I should be fairly alright. The problem with a Minotaur firing at me isn't really with the Minotaur, it's the fact that if I try to exclusively dodge the Minotaur, the other ships might have an easier time trying to hit me. Like that Za over there. But I think I should be alright. Although I might still take a lot of damage. But if we could take out the Minotaur, that would go a long way to winning the game. Okay, so we are at 932 points. After all, capping wins games, right? And nobody's still in the middle cap, so if enough time passes, we should win the game. Which is good that my team is being defensive, I suppose. Okay, and more damage on the Minotaur. This is very, very good news. Hopefully we can take her out. Oh, and the Khabarovsk is back. Maybe I should switch targets. Okay, running away because, again, I don't want to risk my ship and die. That would be very, very unfortunate since we are at 960 points. And losing ships could easily snowball this thing out of control. Right now we are still a 5 against 6, so we are in a fairly good position, especially with our current points. So, second time I've managed to run aground in this game, but again, I have a very, very helpful smokescreen to cover me, so this running aground thing is not actually an utter failure, which is very nice. It doesn't make me feel like a failure then, after all. Should be able to take out this Khabarovsk, which is good. I do have to keep in mind that there is another destroyer, at least the minimap says so. Okay, good. Khabarovsk gone, and it's time to shoot the Z-46. And I definitely do need to move away from this, which is why I'm gonna go full speed. Because I think that the chance that this Z-46 did not shoot fire torpedoes at me is like 0. I am turning closer though, because if I go the other way I will run into a battleship. A Montana even, which I definitely do not want to have happen to me. And I'm gonna drop a torpedo on the other side for the cruiser that's coming around the island. And I suppose I will start running while shooting the Minotaur. So my engine was broke. Sorry, not the engine, the... Oh yeah, that was the engine, yeah. Oh, I definitely need to repair that. Because I want to have maximum speed and run away, because we lost the ship, so we're back to 940 points. And unfortunately my torpedoes were off the mark on the Prince Eugen, or the Eugen dodged them. I don't want to fire my guns because I would like to disappear from range, yes. Or sorry, fall into concealment. Yes, I know the Eugen is close enough, but if I go behind an island, it'll be alright. So my rudder was taken out, but I do have last stand, so I still have some control over the rudder, and on top of that, the engine is completely fine and I don't really need a rudder to run away. So we lost another ship, so now it's a 3 against 5. And we are at 900 points. Think about it, if just one ship had survived for a little bit more, we would have already have won the game, or at least been very, very close to it. However, that was not the case, so... And we lost another ship. So I'll try to run as hard as I can. I fired at the Montana, hoping that, you know, since the Montana was focusing on other targets, I could maybe get some damage in. However, that didn't really seem to be the case, so now I'm just gonna wait until I fall into concealment again. I don't really want to be killed by the Prince Eugen or the Montana. Dodge the shells and I'm alright. I'm in concealment now, so what my plan right now is to simply just run away as much as I can. And hopefully the friendly battleship will be able to have them stay where they are for a reasonable duration so that we can get closer to winning the game. There's only 3 minutes left, so... I mean, the enemy team is 300 points behind, sorry, 400 points behind, so... should be an easy victory, right? At least the Z46 is fairly low HP, 1500 only, which is very, very good. I fire at the Montana again, because the Montana is clearly otherwise occupied, so I can get a few shots in. I mean, it's unlikely that this will net me anything, but still, it's a good thing to try to maybe get some heat off the friendly Bismarck. Although I don't really expect that to be happening. Okay, so the Bismarck went down, and I am the last ship left, so I immediately use smoke to put the smoke screen between me and my enemies to essentially fall into concealment again. So, the enemy team is capping. They just capped the second ring, and they are capping the outer ring as well. So once that happens, it's time to do some maths, and I quite literally, while playing the game, at this current moment, or at some moment here, I alt-tab out of the game, and I calculate how many points we would gain. So, there's 107 seconds left, 1 minute 47, and they have all 3 bases. And if you think about the numbers, you get 3 points per base every 4 seconds. So, let's go with 80 seconds left. That would be 20 ticks of 9 points. That would be plus 180 points. So let's check how many points they have at 120. And how many we have. So at 120, the enemy team has 260 points. So plus 180, that would put them at 800 points, which is 13 points higher than our team's 787, which means that the enemy team would win the game if the timer ran out. So my plan right now is to go closer to the enemy team and hope that the Z46 became greedy and came to try to pick me off. In that case, because the Z46 has like 1500 HP, I should be able to pick her off, and hopefully there won't be enough time for the enemy team to try to, kill me in return, since there's only 40 seconds left. But of course, the Z46 might be smart, and I take that back. The Z46 is not smart. Because I am currently detected, which means the Z46 is definitely here. So I start my turn in a way so that I can dodge shells, because the Z46 has much better concealment than I do, and well, there she is. Hello! And, okay, that was a failure. Come on. Oh my god, come on now. Excellent. And that's the Z46 gone. This is my only chance of winning. Now all I need to do is survive for another 5 seconds with my 1700 HP, dodge as much as possible. There's the game, with a nice solo warrior. This game was pretty much handed to me by the Z46. However, we were winning pretty hard early on, however our team derped. Luckily I still managed to bring it back. Only 91,000 damage and 226 shell hits. And only 1 ship destroyed and only 10 fires. The only medal I got was a solo warrior. No high calibers, no nothing. But it's not like I did nothing this game. Without me, the team would have 100% lost. It is what it is, I suppose. Also, 2 caps on a Soviet DD. This is still quite an incredible result, because I was quite certain we were going to lose. However, some quick thinking helped me bring this back. So yeah, if you're in a position where you are thinking that you should win by points, definitely try running the numbers with a calculator or something to just check it. Okay, so team score. Oh my god, I only got 1644 base XP, while the enemy Montana got 1536 on a loss. Yeah, that guy definitely needs a compliment. That guy played really, really well. But yeah, surprisingly little experience. 1.67 million potential damage taken. That's actually a lot. And well, there's the Z46. Yeah, I have pretty much the entire... Well, I guess it's not the entire loss, but the loss was on him, in my opinion. 1.67 million potential damage taken. I did a lot of dodging this game. And, well, the damage output I had was not that great, considering the targets I fired upon. And here's the credits And XP, 243,000 credits profit. Oh yeah, by the way, if you noticed, I had 111 kilometers traveled in a 20-minute game. So that means my Udaloi went at 330 kilometers per hour. Maybe she's not as slow as I thought. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this match. If you did, then like it. If not, then dislike it. And I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Concussive, and I hope I see you guys next time.